Alright. Sorry for being slightly late, peeps. I just lost track of time, I guess. I was getting ready, and then I got distracted. Getting this print up and running. What is it? It is some of the parts of the Nidhogg. That's what we're going to be focusing on yet again today. I have had a hell of a productive week, even if I do say so myself, and so has Albin actually.
Woo!
We're going to do some show and tell. I have recorded a video or two for the purposes of showing off just how much progress we've made.
Oh, yeah.
I think last week I showed you guys the engine block up to maybe from deck 13 to maybe deck 11. Not entirely sure. We got considerably further this week, which is ahead of schedule because my goal was 1 level per day and I was closer to 2 levels per day. But was not so effective yesterday. So before I get into all of that, let's have a look at the chat. Let's see. We've got Tamsin, we've got Timothy, we've got Mon Capitan, great painter. We've got Jaron, we've got Shergel, Stosh is here, Clive, Alex, Brian's here, Blasted is here. Nice to see you guys in the chat. And as you stream in and join us, why not say g'day even if you are a bit lagging behind at this point, much like the stream itself. Of course, with me in the office I have Albin.
Hello!
Who couldn't speak normally if he tried.
No.
But we find that endearing about him. And yeah, let's get started by talking about some of the big releases this week. I know we have had 1 or 2 miniature releases for the 5th Frontier War. The one big one is Umar Rorikand or something like that. He's I think a merchant guild leader or something like that. I'm just trying to fish through all of the pages of my manufacturer I have open at any one given time, and it looks like, yet again, the page is malfunctioning. I'm shocked. I know sometimes we do have people looking in on us, but yeah, it's unfortunate. So, looks like Lisa has been doing a lot of changes to a bunch of different files, which makes it really difficult for me to see what exactly is new. So let me scroll down and double check, and hopefully I can find it. Well, she's been busy. So, there we are. Yeah, Umar Rurkamund, yeah, is the name. So we have that miniature released. I know we're on the precipice of getting a bunch of other ones added. Vehicle-wise, we have the new Zidani air raft, and I'll be showing you that in just a few seconds. It's not actually on the store yet, but it should be by the end of day by sounds of things. Albin has agreed to that, and we also have next month's release, which I guess is coming out tomorrow, and for our friends at Benjamin, and should already be in your libraries. So I realize I'm not showing you anything on my screens because I'm trying to find out on the other one. So why don't I just switch to the close-up camera. And I can show you guys first the air raft, which, this dude's fallen over. Here we go. I think this thing turned out great. It's quite a simple design, but it looks really good once printed. Albin lives on compliments, so everyone give Albin a compliment in the chat. You can see it with and without the window plate. Obviously you would have to glue that in place if you want it to actually stick. And it's an option. I don't know what John will do. I assume it'll be open, or that you'll have the non-clear version. You'll probably have an upgrade where if you want to have the window, you can. But we actually did put a gun on it. Even though I told Alvin just to make something where you could, in theory, mount a gun, and there was no theory. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I have trouble orienting where things should be. And it looks really, really cool in 3D as well. Then, of course, we have what we're calling the Theta Heavy Fighter, which is this month's tribe release. And this guy here was actually inspired by one of our Instagram followers who has been building our models out at 1:18 scale for the action figures he has. Well, they have, I don't know. Bloke by the name of Caleb, excellent stuff. You should check out the Instagram pictures that I'm sure will be coming soon of their build. It is based on the Heavy Fighter platform, although the wings have been fitted here, you can see, for heavier missiles. So there's some additional missile slots on the wings. It has this sort of like, we went for a galaxy far, far away sort of theme on this one. So you have a pilot, you have a gunner, and you also have, I don't know if this will focus, but you have an R2 unit, an astromech, well, not an R2, but an astromech droid in there. And this is from Kathy Millett Modeling, and it is going to be included free with this month's Tribes. And this is a cross promotion, and Kathy has a new Kickstarter starting soon, and I realized I should not have been so rushed today and should have had a link in the description of the film, but we'll probably try and add that. Let me quickly grab that. Let's see, there's Kathy, and I could show you guys a render of the figures a little bit more close up in a sec as well. But we are actually going to be focusing quite a bit today on, here we go, here's the sewer district link I'm going to dump into the chat right now. There we go. And also, where can I change that description? I might have to do it later, or get Albin to do it. Or someone else, anyway. I know that John is occupied today eating pancakes or destroying pancake machines. Also, I have heard. So yeah, what are we up to today? Let me unhide all of this. You can see quite how busy this scene is. Let me just increase the and if we turn off the background as well, you guys should hopefully be able to make this out a little bit better. Let's turn that off so there's less junk in the scene, and I think we can safely delete that one, and I think we'll also just yeah, we'll leave those ones there for now, but you can see the progress on the Nidhogg. It's quite extensive at this point in time, and you can kind of see where I am at the moment. So I am in the top deck. Not all the interior is in place. I just wanted to get the exterior fully printable. You're back from the hotel breakfast. Awesome. So someone can maybe add that link, one of you guys, into the description for this film so that people can easily find it. If not, we'll do it post stream. You've been sick this week, blasted, and watching The Expanse since season 1 is leaving in a few days, and hoping we get a second Dynasty Anubis Scopula ship at some point. I don't think so. It's asymmetric and interesting, but asymmetric, especially in that sense, equals massive headache for Ben, and I am too old for that shit. So probably not in that sense, but it is a cool ship. Yeah, I don't see it happening anytime soon. Never say never, but yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. Anyway, let's see, what else are people saying? Ben's late. We've got sight and sound. Good morning from Ottawa. Man, it sucks being sick, but great that you get to rewatch The Expanse. I'm actually doing that myself. I'm in episode 3 of season 6 now. Although I watched season 5, episode 10, or certain portions of it, many, many times. That's one of the best space battles ever. And looking forward to what else is coming now in season 6. So I do hope in the future that they return to The Expanse. For people that don't know, in the books there is a 30-year gap between book 6, which season 6 is based on, and book 7. So there is plenty of time for the same cast to return in the same roles in the advanced timeline. But there's also plenty of room for a bunch of new stories to play out. So hopefully I'd like to see more Expanse content, but that is kind of a little bit about what I just realized I haven't been sharing Maya. Yeah, I mean that's a part of the theme of the Aesir fleet. So whilst not the Expanse per se, the whole concept behind it is something that you could drag and drop into your Expanse RPG game, or you could, play a TL8 or 9 Traveller campaign with them. Lots of different options. And of course, we were very lucky to find out that when the Expanse team did do their campaign on BackerKit for miniatures, both miniature ships and miniature figures, we were very happy to learn that the figures were going to be in our scale of 28mm. So that was awesome. I can only hope the Alien RPG miniatures are going to be in a similar scale. We've got an autosave going on, otherwise I will preview this thing. But in the meantime, actually, if I can just... Let's see, is it camera 2 there? No. You can still hear me, hopefully. So I am going to see if I can find this video I just uploaded to from my phone. Let's see. So I want to go to there, and thankfully there shouldn't be too much of an issue. So it might need to sync, so you can hear my lovely voice, so soothing you on this Friday. What's everyone up to this Friday? Let's see, open and visible. There we go. Let's see. I need to make this transform and fit to screen. There we go. So I took this just a few minutes before I got on stream. And you can see the development of the Nidhogg so far as physical prints go. I think this came out really well so far. It hasn't been cleaned up at all yet. We're aiming to have all 5 ships finished by launch, but maybe not completely painted. Well, no, they won't be completely painted. And so yeah, this is up to deck 3, I think is the highest deck, which is level 2 at the bridge. And there's Alvin. So, and then you also can see in the window the old Notanante, which will be getting a
Stream?
I don't think I can do anything about it.
No. Okay, that was on my part. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Alvin, for making me panic. So here you can again see a better close-up of the Theta and the Zidani air raft next to it. So just I'm glad this was a longer film than I thought it was. I was worried it was going to be all over in seconds. So I think that haze is just my camera trying to adjust. And you can see the dude has fallen over.
Oh.
Blue tack is not that strong.
No. The blue tack is not strong in this one.
Blue tack has a rather bullshit. I think it claimed that it could hold up to 1 kilo, which is just nuts. No, it can't. I guess you need a significant clump, but like it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it can hold it up, but for how long?
It can hold its own weight.
Basically. So that's it. Back to Maya and the chat. So let's see what people have been saying. Not sharing the screen. Yeah, I'll work that one out eventually. 28 millimeter scale Medina Station. That's 2.4 kilometers. No, thank you. Settle down there, buddy. Loud and clear. That was really pretty. Taking it easy, no work today. How nice. Please use the friendly name, Fenrir. Right, yes, you mean the lawyer friendly name. Timothy Hickson working on Gridforge pieces to refit ships to newest flooring, plus Frankensteining a space station. Nice. Joining the club with Shergel, I see. I just at the moment I'm kind of converting this piece to get to the top decks, and one of the cool new pieces I did, although I think Maya was extremely uncooperative the other day. I've been doing these sort of hybrid models where, yes, there is some built-in floor. It's not going to be super customizable in that sense. But we have this area, and this will be basically the place where we would put the crew stations for piloting the ship. Got this cool little pattern going on behind the walls. It came out nicely. And you can see some supporting clip holes here where I'm hoping to mount like control panels and things. So rewatching The Expanse, in particular the Pella, has this Martian feel, but it does have more like physical control areas rather than the holographic solutions that the Rossi has. Near completion of the Calendula guide, then have to gauge interest in the Type S Scout guide. Right. I can't wait to set up in the new makerspace so I can get back to printing. You're going to do it in a makerspace, or a shared space. Interesting. Dare you leave printers there?
Ooh.
But yeah, this Gridforge tile is actually built in, so it's not John standard. It goes all the way out. It's not designed to unclip, and this is mostly just for stability. And then it's kind of hard to see here. I might not be grabbing all the parts. Let me just get in here. And actually, why don't we just grab all of those top two floors here? And we can isolate those and have a look. So you would come out onto the bridge. There might be a floor control. There'll be a ladder up either. I was thinking that there'd be a ladder up there and a ladder up there, but we do need a way to get to the level above. And I'm kind of, at this point, thinking that we do something more like, I don't know, maybe leaving that gap open and then closing off the rest of these. So I haven't completely decided on the final layout, and there would be some more stations, I think, at the back, but that sort of multi-level bridge look. And some of the stations we would just have in the Gridforge tiles would be the goal. So if you wanted to customize some of these floors, they would need some model tinkering. It won't just be that customizable. It's a hybrid model. When it comes down to it, Gridforge is made for regular squares. So yeah, that's kind of it. Makerspace is how I refer to my office. Okay.
Oh.
That makes more sense. My office is my makerspace too. I mean, we have a printer room technically. I need to remember that every time I complain about it, feeling like we're running out of space here. We're actually taking up the most of anyone.
Yeah.
We are paying the most in rent though, to compensate. So yeah, in this upper level, let me just get rid of the walls here. I think that's kind of in the way. So what's going to be in here is, I'm thinking the top level, you have your captain's cabin on one side, officer's cabin on the other, And then you have this sort of little section here, which I think will maybe have, oh, what came with that? That doesn't need to be there. Maybe a sort of like service access area for the missiles. Don't know why. Okay, this hasn't been moved onto the grid, that's why. I was thinking, geez, that looks out of place. So I've just created a little, it's kind of hard to tell here, but there's a little track down the bottom for the missiles. Really, it's just to ensure it all fits and doesn't interfere with the rest of it. So this can come back down. So that all will fit behind the walls, no worries. So the main issue now is going to be figuring out how to get to the deck below. So one of my theories was that we come up here, but I'm not sure, and I'm not sure yet either if this floor is going to be offset or if we'll try and correct things, since it's more of a built-in piece, and it doesn't really matter where the tiles are from level to level, just that you can fit them in all right. So tracking ammo, you just count the missiles left in the magazine. Yeah, the torpedoes in this case, you could, yes. And then these are the sort of top launchers here, so these would open up. It's just a variant of our original one, and you should be able to see, well, if I remove this part, so I haven't built it yet, you can see where the tube will be down beneath. So it's got an auto feeder, and this ship would be able to fire 3 missiles at a time, or torpedoes. And actually there is a little bit of a request today from the people in chat, and that is I am starting to seriously consider what we might have in the form of stretch goals. I know it might seem like, you know, we've got less than a month left. Actually, we've only got a little over 3 weeks, which is kind of crazy. Link in the description if you want to join the Backer Kit page. I think we've got over 400 people now signed up. Backer Kit are going to be behind us advertising, and Backer Kit, I just want to promote them a little bit. Like, if you can get their paid services for advertising, unlike Kickstarter where you can get like Yelop to, or Jelop, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, to do advertising, you do have to pay up front for those, whereas Backer Kit actually fronts those costs, so you're not paying it until you're actually getting paid for the campaign, which makes a huge difference for us liquidity wise. And usually that has been a constraint in the past. So we have no idea if this is going to be a positive move or not. It is at this point just a trial. This ended up being a much bigger campaign than I thought it would be. But it's quite iterative, I feel, and an opportunity to, like, it might not seem like it, and obviously these have a similar look to the Sleipnir parts, but I'm telling you now, it's 95% changed the way that it all works. We've tried to make it as backwards compatible as possible. So for example, the new torpedo tube launchers vary only slightly, especially with the mountings, but they should be like cross compatible for the most part. John has redone the PDC doors. I don't have the newest version in there, but I do have it on the printer. Kind of hard to see the difference, but if I come down through the layers, the main thing is, I think, yeah, it's really hard to tell, but there is like some ribbing on the print-in-place doors that should help it stay in place better. Ironically, I didn't actually break the connection this morning to test how the doors work now. I do need to do that, but I'll do it after the stream. But yeah, I do have some ideas already for what I want there to be. Let me just do some of this, because I think there's some information I don't want to stream at this point in time. And yeah, I think let me get this over here. So this should be okay to share as is. So some of this data is old from the original Sleipnir, but I kind of have a list here of some of the ideas that we could do. They're in no particular order. And some of them are generic, some of them are for specific ships. We're probably looking at bigger is better. And although we are planning to do some additional miniatures. So the Sleipnir crew, I've talked to Papsicles and asked, like, are you able to repose the 7 crew that we already have? So they have lying down positions as well. So that's something we're missing, because like the Traveller Hero miniatures have 5 different poses, whereas these ones only have 4 by default. So they are missing the sort of lying down at rest versions. And then we'd like to do a few more characters, maybe a revisit to some older designs, like an update. I'm not sure yet, but that will be its own sort of add-on pack, and not something that we put into stretch goals. So it does seem like the social sort of stretch goals are a bit more integrated with backer kit. So for example, we can say, hey, this stretch goal unlocks if we get 500 backers, as opposed to like saying we hit this target, right? So there are a few more options in there, so it needs to be figured out. But I would like your suggestions, because at the moment, for example, the ladder wells we've used is basically an updated version of the Sleipnir ones. But these do take up a tremendous amount of room. So I would like to do one where it's essentially only taking up 1 tile of traversal with maybe a frame, and sacrificing the sliding airlock floor for the ability to have a little bit more play space for customizability. So for example, this whole plate is taking up a lot of room there that you could have other tiles on if you had a different ladder style, right? So that would be an ideal sort of one. Let me get my chat back up as well. Let's see, there we go. So we're getting some good suggestions already, I can see. Let's see. Shergol asks, is there other flavor scatter that would be special for this setting? What do you mean by scatter? Like,
He mentioned later.
Okay, so I should read on. Julie Mal, protomolecule infected Belter miniature, maybe. No, I don't want to get too close to the expanse. Like, it just. I'm trying to be cognizant of the fact that the guys that do have the Expanse license, I don't want to tread on their toes. They're not making 28mm scale spaceships. I want to make something that they can use with, their official miniatures if you wanted to, but isn't a licensed Expanse ship. It just has the visual design language that it feels like it could fit into that universe, or Traveller, or some other kind of generic role-playing game that is at that sort of tech level, right? So I think honestly there's a lot of zombie miniatures and things you could probably use already that are out there. And I don't want the stretch goals to be miniatures. Like, I'd rather just say, we have this pack, this is what we're doing, because it gives us more control over it, and then also it's also to keep production costs down, because it usually works out and that sort of thing, but like, for example, the 5th Frontier War, we have to work with a lot of miniature sculptors, and there's a certain cost that comes with that. So the whole purpose of this campaign is to hopefully finance Persephone. And Persephone is a real passion project, but I know it's going to take a long time to do right. And that might mean sacrificing a slot until after the summer, or before, I'm not sure. It will be our next large project, unless this goes terribly, and in which case we might look at doing another Traveller campaign sooner rather than later, because we can manage it a little bit better in the sense of we can work with Mongoose, get art approved, and go through this process, and I think they will be more comfortable with this. Oh, by the way, I also heard from Matthew today, and he sent me some statistics for Korpen. So Korpen is actually the next generation version of Gripen, which is kind of appropriate, I guess. And it apparently has, it does have the big engine still with the sort of chemical rocket, but it only works for 20 minutes. Otherwise, though, it has a proper maneuver drive. And I think it has Gauss cannons instead of laser cannons, is the thing that he was saying. So, yeah, let's see. Blasted, print, mold, and use expanding foam. What?
I think.
I might have scrolled too far. Let's see. Here we come with suggestions. I love the idea for a Sleep Near Crew idea. That's outstanding for an add-on pack. Zero G toilet. Yes, that's on the list, and I'm talking like a real ISS style toilet, where you've got the funny tube thing for the gentlemen's. Otherwise, I guess it's kind of similar to an airplane toilet, to be honest. Just a little bit more suctiony, I guess. And most of it is like behind the scenes packages. Let's see. Blaster says Martian Marines power armor would be nice too. We do have an older design that I got done ages ago, where Flavor Pickle did actually do some sculpting work on it and then dropped off the face of the planet. So I never got them finished. So it is a bit more power armory, but it is my style, not really the Expanse. So it's a little bit, maybe a bit more enemy-ish. Aesir Corp members, command and soldier. That's not a bad idea, but again, the ideas, I'm looking for ship things in particular, not really miniatures. Wasn't there some kind of hydroponics thing? We do already have something like that in the mess. I can drop back to that. Actually, it seems we're dealing with an autosave at present. They are making 28mm miniatures, which is a nice scale choice. I agree with that, especially for us. Instead of stick-out ladder rungs, wall recesses, same function, visually more room. Yeah. That would be a lot of parts to change, though. That would be a lot of parts to change. It makes a lot more sense, but the Expanse aesthetic does have it on the outside. An extendable maintenance winch that extends outside the cargo bay to lift from ground to cargo bay. That is an old suggestion. Okay, now we're good. I think we'll just try and identify which level is the mess. I think it's this one. No, that's the airlock. So we can look at it anyway if we want, I guess. So why don't I use my layers like a grown-up? Because most items are not assigned to it, apparently. Here we can see the mess. So we do have some very, very close to what's in the Expanse looking mess hall areas already. These have all been updated, and they, rather than they would be printing out on in this shape, standing up, and or on their backs. I'm not entirely sure yet exactly how we're going to solve this, because the interior comes after the exterior. So, and then the airlock, I think, is the level below. You can see the updated suit housings there, armaments, and you can see there's even fold out grab seats for your troops if you need to move and maneuver the ship before they're ready to leave and do their thing. Alright, let's see. It also means you can have this recessed ladder in an optional lift well. Yeah, that is a good point. In the optional lift well, the recessed ladders might make a lot more sense. Because rather than making this sort of like odd shaped lift which I did. I don't know that we have it in this design. I think we'd have to go over to Sleipnir to find it. Pretty sure it's on attached to the airlock deck. Let's see. There we go. No, not this time. Let's try it. Maybe the bridge. Yeah, there you go. So this is our lift. It's kind of like an odd shape because of that. So yeah, if we did recess the ladders, that would let us make a lift that's a little bit more flush. That's a good point. Okay, less mini-focused idea. Why not sci-fi flight stand? So we can get the ship display in a more flight pose instead of just standing it. It won't work. The ship is not designed like the way that weight is distributed. It will fall apart if you turn it 90 degrees on its side. It would work for miniatures just fine, and ship miniatures is probably something we should do as a stretch goal. Other than just 4 acrylic rods sunk in a piece of wood, you mean? Right, yeah. So you would literally have to glue the entire ship together if you wanted to put it that way. Sadly. Other than just, hydroponics or mushroom farm room with food printer. How about some boarding pods? Boarding pods makes a good ship variation. I've already kind of got it in the works. So, the Ratatosk, you might recall, had this pouch-like thing on it. So I was thinking this could be a cool tie-in for our March. Whatchamacallit? Tribes. So this is a sort of attachment pod that's going to be on the Ratatosk. Normal variant, maybe it's cargo, has an additional airlock, that sort of thing, but then actually make something in the approximate same size that we could do as a tribes release that is actually a like boarding ship or landing ship. I like that idea. Let's see, boarding pod variant of the shuttle pod. Yeah, that would probably be easier to do. Suit room is a lot cleaner. Yeah, I did clean up some of the nonsense a bit, and obviously the suits you'd want to have separate for painting anyway. 2x1 with one side being a quick lift, the other side being an emergency ladder well. Yeah, that could maybe do it, I think. An exterior wall section after the boarding pod attached to it. Okay, now that is obviously we couldn't do it for the entire ship, like in a bunch of different places, but if we make it like something like this sized with the hole cut out of it, yeah, that makes some sense. And technically now too, we could make an open lock wall and just have the conversion clips for Gridforge instead and make a lot more room. So Gridforge does add some additional possibilities there. Getting all these tiles to line up so the patterns match also is a bloody nightmare, or was. Let's see. An exterior wall section. Okay, we've done that one. And the second suggestion has been eradicated. So anyway, I've gone on enough. At the top of the show, what I was actually trying to get done, and you can keep making suggestions and I'll have a look in the chat. But what we really want to get done here is viewing, so I'm just making these all available again. So I was going to work on this PDC section here. But I'm kind of like at a point where I'd really like to get some of these wall sections onto the printer for tonight. I was hoping to be completely finished with the ship today. That's not going to happen. Sorry, so the full exterior is printable. I'm probably just going to put in an extra shift on the weekend because we are running out of a lot of time. Your statement got explodified. We'll share in DM that Gridforge piece can be nailed in, which allows it to go in for stability, even when surrounded on 3 sides and a clip. Okay. I mean, I just went to the corners and made it so it fit flush again with a very quick operation and be integrated. Or the main issue with doing that is everyone's stuck with 3s, if that's what you mean. Let's see. A 2 times 1 with the side being a quick... I'm rereading things here, sorry. A 1-person reaction thrust maintenance vehicle. Skinny enough to fit through the cargo door. I do like the idea of that, and there's something that's always appealed about that ever since like seeing Flash Gordon as a kid. Something like that, yeah, we've talked about before, and actually I think there is a Ron Cobb sort of design of a vehicle they were going to have on the Nostromo, but ran out of time for. Just remember, you can make a proto-molecule idea just a bunch of... Yes, we can, although the person to appeal to about that is in the chat, but it's not me. So yeah, ways to integrate this thing. I can't remember how I got this thing printable is part of the issue. It kind of looks like it was designed to use supports, to be honest, and we want to avoid supports phase in our lives. So I think the easiest thing would be if this can be built in such a way that it just angles down, so the flat side prints on the printer, which will basically mean that you can see this angle, that's going to be flat on the printer by the end of things. But that's going to take some time. I think the best thing to work on is this one. And there are some missing, like, actually I want to grab, very quickly, let's grab these open lock clip holes. Actually, let's select from both sides. Just grab that much, let's select, invert. And then it looks like we can just flip this in the Y, and we'll integrate these together. Unfortunate because I already started printing this piece, but we really need this clip hole here, I think, because it will help us create a stable connection. So let's just delete all of these faces, we don't need them anymore. Hopefully we didn't take anything else out with them, looks alright. And then before I get too far, I think we'll duplicate this. And move it up, because we want this on the opposite side so we can attach the level above. Just with our sort of, what did we call them? The hook clips, but I think they've got another name. Wedge clips. Well, the name is not about the nail. The nail is actually useful in Gridforge. Okay, right. Well, I don't think that it would work with this project. You could do some really neat ideas by incorporating Gridforge into the hull, damage sections, agreeable variations. Yeah, I think so. If there was like a wall version of it, I know a lot of people have talked about it lately, but just the support clips in themselves are very useful by virtue of the fact that they can fit into very small spaces, and they've been tremendously useful, especially with recent sort of vehicles and that sort of thing. We're not bound by... Oh wow, what is going on there? Oh, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't think we want that. Let's redo some of this geometry. So we'll get rid of that. Oh. What? Oh, that's interesting. It looks like it's wedged between there and there. Yeah. Wow. Okay, that was unnecessary. I must have put divisions in. Anyway, sorry. I have become distracted. Apparently 6 hours of sleep is inadequate. Alright, let's delete that, and then we can integrate these. So I'll probably go back and do another detail pass on this because I don't like the interior being as simple as it is, but I really just want to get an exterior up and done. And like I said, we'll probably have to reprint this anyway, because we are missing some detail and these clip holes in the prototype I just sent out. So we don't want anything as ugly as this. There we go, and then I think we'll just do a fill hole operation and then triangulate the results. Oh, there were no results. Well, that's not great. Why not? Usually we'll see that there's a line coming down somewhere, and there it is there. This is our problem. So if we merge these, looks like we need to merge that too. And it looks like it's following on down the entire length of this thing. Oh, that's excellent. Let's lower the threshold here. I am a bit worried that maybe there are some issues with some of these parts that I haven't looked closely enough at. Like, for example, that some of these lines aren't flush with the grid. It looks okay, but kind of hard to tell. Like, see how that line thinned out a little? Maybe it's hard to see. That does indicate that on the whole it's pretty flat. Not so flat that I think it would even cause print errors, but we need to fix this so it is all flush with the grid. And that might explain why I did feel, I think this should be alright because it's John's work. Let's see. There we go, and it all should be back in place now. So we just want to make sure all of that is sitting properly and we don't have any real issues. And it looks like the top might have the same issues. So it could have just been like some of these parts are so old, or I've been cutting and pasting a lot of bits and bobs to create this. Oh good, look, we have this issue on the other side here. It's lovely. Let's see. Warforge is not ready because I haven't found a solution that I like it. I agree. Like, the other thing too is sci-fi walls tend to thicken out in certain places, and yeah, I don't know. Just I kind of want it, but also the Gridforge is a lot more low effort in like changing things compared to the Warforge, what it would mean. And ideally, yeah, I don't know. I don't love the idea of moving off of open lock, because at that point it feels like we're not using it anymore at all. Might not be the worst thing in the world. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stubborn. Or actually, I know definitively that I am stubborn, but it would mean addressing thousands of STL files and it might just be a gradual thing, like Gridforge is not going to replace everything overnight. We're using it in parts of our ships, but you know, it is not constraining us as much. And there are parts where open lock is much better because you want a larger, stronger clip. That laugh in the background, huh?
That's
That's Albin. Let's see. More wall adornments for customization, like the walls were integrated into the Type S. I think you used that in the Odyssey as well. The partitions, yeah. The new... There are some partitions that are being made, but I'm kind of building them into Gridforge tiles. So, let's see. I think if we got a Sleipnir, let's see. I think deck 3 could be a good candidate here. So these are the partitions that I've made, but it is very sort of like, they are thicker than the Traveller ones. The Traveller ones are as thin as they are in part just due to the fact that the deck plans have stupidly thin walls. And you know, that might make sense to some degree, but we are constrained by printing. So can get a general idea. I really like these new doors, by the way. They've got 3 different variants, I believe. And yeah, just trying to make sense of things a little bit more this time around. Like, we can give things a little bit of extra thought. So where were we? We were on this piece, and we just added the clip holes. It's discolored at the moment. I don't greatly want to just go through and change that this second. It's not that relevant for the stream. But we can grab this and actually we'll pull this as well. So we have some additional clip holes. Whoops. Delete that. It does have some... Oh, that was a bad move. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call. Right, there we go. Because we want that for this palette. And that could also be a great candidate for a... Let's see, can I make this part in 5 minutes? Probably not. Probably not. So this has been my days this week. Albin's been super productive. Which has been wonderful to see. I said on Monday, like, we have 2 goals for you this week, and it is get this done and that done, and you got both of them done with time to spare. Possibly, I don't know. Maybe everything's going to hell right now, and he's just being quiet. Gridforge walls can make the models less stable. I already have problems with some ships not liking to stay together using open lock clips. I mean, it depends on the kind of clips that you want to use, and over time they do, like the ports do actually naturally expand. So you may need progressively tighter clips, and also based on your printer, you may need a different size clip. Like, yeah, like the springy clips are designed to be easily removed. Then I have these ones that Printable Scenery put out years ago that are made of a different, harder plastic, and they can damage the actual housing if they're that tight. Let's see. One thing about this setting is that there's a lot more 0G, like in what is showing here. Yeah, that's true. You despise Type S partition walls. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm thinking of perhaps a stand for minis floating in 0G. Yeah, I don't know how best to implement that. That is a tough one. 0G mini variants with/without a flight stand hole. Yeah, actually building something in so you don't have to just pin it. Like the ones we've been sent have just had pins in them. There's 2 tightnesses of supporties too. That is correct. I almost universally use the tighter ones. Right, so we have those clips in. We do need some way for this wall to clip into that one. You can see I've already built in the ports we need over here. But I did forget now to select there should be a clip hole in there. Where is it? There it is. So that's going to get integrated as well. So this is actually 2 different parts here. So I think this will all print out as one, just this section. I used to make things more modular. I don't think with these unusual shapes that it actually serves anything. Also the fact that the tiles deck by deck are not matching up. In hindsight, if we'd have done it so that, I think we did it so it's 7 tiles per 2 inches, which obviously complicates things because you need an alternating pattern. And I should have done 6 or 8 instead, probably. For the open lock permanent stuff, I use a solid snug and not a stringy. Yep. That's the best way to go with that. I use that for any load-bearing parts. So here too, I think, do we have any clips? It doesn't look like we've actually integrated any into the floor yet, so we actually have some freedom to choose where it's going to go. The standard section is a bit different because where this wall is attaching is different. And part of the reason for that, let me just, since you guys probably can't read the wireframe the way I can, I left this as is because I was thinking of having a toilet nook. And maybe what I need here is a thicker wall, I'm not sure. Maybe this would have been better served with a full wall. But there are other issues here to sort of deal with. So I'm definitely not going to be able to get this part done in the next minute. But we do have a good idea about where we could possibly go with things. And here we probably could, let's see. Let's have this part again. Does that have... No, it doesn't have anything up the top because you have your beds in there. Alright, so in this case, we might want to have another clip hole here, but then that would interfere with our toilet. No, because our toilet is further in. Alright, so a safe spot would be to put one there. So I would say that rather than copying this thing, let's just delete that side and grab this one instead and move it back to there. Then we should be able to move this over to here, rotate that 90 degrees. I realize that you guys probably can't see it. You need to visualize. Delete that one, duplicate that. Let's scale it -1 in the Y, freeze those transformations, and then let's combine these again. So we'll have these ones, actually no, these ones go to this, mash combine, and this one will go to this part, and we'll have a mash combine. And then if we just have something at the top of this piece, I think we probably are going to have supporty clips in there. Oh no, full-size clips, great. And things like this part here are actually designed to be put up or down, like in orientation. You can see it has a bunch of optional clip holes, just so that we can use that part there, and essentially there. It's like a slightly alternative model, but close enough. So some paneling and that sort of thing. Let's see. I don't think we've got anything extra there going on in the chat, but there's been some good suggestions and ideas. Lots of great miniature ideas. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do those ones. But yeah, and this line looks entirely unnecessary. These are unnecessary too. And that way we can just delete some of these bits and bobs and integrate these OpenLog clips more properly. And then I think that will be a good spot to leave things until next week. What will we be doing next week? I'd say there's a pretty good chance it's going to be related to this project. Mostly by virtue of the fact that this is going to be my life for the next few weeks and months, no doubt. And yeah. And yeah. Very, very useful. Alright, so we've got a few annoying triangles there. It's always nice if you can quadrangulate things. Again, we're going to get some off-colored shading. I'll go back and fix that at a later point in time. And there, well, actually no. We've got that to there. If we actually make a loop there, we should be able to close this off with our quads. Oh, much nicer. We didn't have that option here because these are slightly different forms. But in any case, I think at this point in time we've reached to a good stopping point. I'm going to be at this a while longer and over the weekend because I really want to get this finished and printed. I think also, you know, these pieces need a bit more hull detailing, so I don't want to press ahead too quickly. Because this would just be a little bit bland, I think. So, anyway, quadrangulate. Did I say that?
I think so.
Man, I can't use any kind of language anymore. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. We'll be back next week. Have an awesome weekend, everyone. And I will hopefully see you in the next session as well. Have a good one. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.